Okay, so if you're anything like me, you can probably relate to the fact that the worst part of a breakup honestly isn't even the breakup itself. It is those moments after the person leaves you when you'll just be doing anything, right? Like driving, or you'll just get home from work to relax, and your brain will start to go to that place where it starts to ruminate and spin out and start thinking about the relationship and start picturing your ex with someone else and start playing that slideshow of memories and start thinking about all the things they did wrong to you. And it just spins and spins and spins like a hamster wheel, and you can't seem to get out of it, and you're getting angry and sad. So here's what's fascinating about that. When we are in this state of rumination, we are using this part of our brain called the default mode network. The default mode network is associated with a part of our brain that we use when we are not working on a task. So it's the part of our brain that typically would go into like daydreaming, imagination. The problem is when you are in a heightened state of stress or threat, your default mode network gets hijacked by rumination. So if you think of like a little kid who is just like happy and joyful, when they use their default mode network, they are going into a place of imagination. Maybe they have some imaginary friends, or maybe they're playing out, some creative stuff inside their head, or thinking about, their future, whatever they're thinking about. It's good, right? It's imagination based. They're daydreaming. But when you are in this heightened state of stress, particularly after a breakup, that is such a stressful time. When you use your default mode network, it gets hijacked by rumination. And so you're just spinning out about all these things about this person. And because it doesn't feel good to ruminate, like it feels terrible, we will automatically want to try to find some dopamine to make us feel better. Especially if you're someone that's like neurodivergent, or is especially vulnerable to dopamine seeking activities. So then we will start trying to replace the way we feel with unhealthy shit. So maybe we'll go like eat some sugar, or we'll go do drugs or alcohol, or we'll go, engage in some risky sexual behavior, or whatever the case may be. There's a million things it could be. So what you want to do when your brain goes into default mode network and you find yourself ruminating, you want to get your brain out of that, and you want to start working on a task that is either serotonin based or oxytocin based. So this could be things like going and exercising, taking your dog on a walk, going and cleaning your house, hanging out with family or friends. That's oxytocin based because you are connecting with other people. Working on an art project, writing, doing some kind of sport, gardening, hiking, getting out in nature, even getting some kind of like craft. Like, how some people knit and shit like that when they're just watching TV, getting some kind of craft like that you can be working on in those moments when you're just chilling, because then your brain is focused on a task rather than falling into that default mode network of rumination, right? And it may sound stupid at first, like, oh, really? I'm going to be thinking about my ex. You want me to go fucking garden? But we have to start to train our brain to find healthier activities when our brain is going into this state. We can't help it. It just happens when you're in a heightened state of stress. It just happens. You're going to fall into rumination. So you have to train your brain to be like, okay, I'm falling into rumination. I need to go focus on a task right now. This is what I've been doing. My job is cleaning houses, which is really good for me because all day I am focused on cleaning houses. And then on the weekend, I usually dedicate Saturdays to cleaning my own house. So I'm always focused on doing a task. And then at night, I dedicate that to exercise. And so I'm focused on doing my exercises. The moments the most where I find myself ruminating is when I'm in the car. And so one thing you could do if you're in the car is instead of ruminating, turn on a song and sing along to it, because then your brain will be focused on the lyrics and singing is actually really good for you. Anyway, hope that helps. You're not weird if you're ruminating all the time. It's totally normal.